The small village of Trillick is nestled among the rolling hills of South Tyrone. For such a small, unassuming place, there are centuries of history infused in the earth here. Local historian Barney McAnespy has spent decades researching the history and shared some of his vast experience with New Ireland TV. The Battle of Dry Hill took place in 1379 when the O'Neill clan faced off against the Maguires along the Tyrone-Fermanagh border, near what is now the village of Trillick. The result of this battle forged the county lines that are familiar today, with the O'Neills successful in creating a southward jut in his claim for Cheerowan, Owen's land. The battle site is now private farmland, but Barney theorises that its past may still be there.
You see just above where the boys showing the fertiliser under the triangle?
Yeah.
Well, I had no doubt that there's where the boys are buried. It's died at the bottom of Dry Hill. There's a triangle in there in the middle of that's really good ground. And there's a triangle, you can see it just above the tractor under, of about a rood of ground. That
down the foot where the bushes are there?
Oh, well, just above where the tractor is there, there's a triangle in there that's ground that's fenced off, never been used, don't let cattle into it or none. The first man that told me about it was George McQuaid. I heard about the Battle of Dry Hill, but I didn't know. And I was over in George McQuaid's at the wake one night, and George said, he was asking about where his grandfather was buried, and he said, he might have been buried over in the old soldiers' graveyard. But that, as I say, that I have no doubt in my mind that triangle in there, you wouldn't have a triangle of good ground.
Up the hill like that, it couldn't be wetter.
Not wetter. Even if it was wetter, it would be a shock. But that's why it is. Now, you see the bushes on this side, on the left of where the boys driving now.
Yep.
That's what's called the clacking. There's about 5 houses up there. And there's old laneways in them.
I think you can see a wall alright, aye.
Funny, I often wondered where that word came from. It was it's actually a Scottish word, Scottish Gaelic word.
Right.
Now, the difference in a clacking in a village is that there's no order to the houses. The people built a house there and they built them over there and they built them down there. There's no order to them.
The land was colonised following the flight of the Earls, and ground rents were distributed to the Anglican Church and Trinity College, a third-level education institution that barred Catholics from attending.
The Glebe town lands was the town lands that the minister got.
Alright.
Now, what town they're in real that's not Glebe. But when Archdale got this whole territory here, and he gives the minister Kilskerry as Kilskerry Glebe. Golden is Golden Glebe. He gives the mountain to the minister. And that's why the minister, he set the land to the Catholics. Nobody wanted it. But there's about 5 town lands that we are looking at there that are Glebe town lands. But that word glebe is used all over the place. That was the ministers, the territories. There was other territories that was given till, there's a term that you hear used, college land. College land was given till for the upkeep of, there's college land different places in Armagh, up round Roslay, there's college land. That was given for the upkeep of Trinity College. That's the term college land, and that's where Trinity College got its finance to keep the place going.
Right, I didn't know that,
Or a part of the finance.
This is illustrative of the totality of the colonisation of Ireland, undertaken by a host of different monarchs in Britain. Money raised from land stolen from the native populace was used to provide tertiary education exclusively to persons swearing fealty to the Crown. The land of Tyrone was controlled by the O'Neills before it was taken over. This was one of the great houses of Ireland. Following the flight of the Earls, the O'Neills spanned across the world, but one branch of the household remained in Trillick.
Great O'Neills that Trillick lived in
The O'Neills?
What?
The O'Neills?
The real O'Neills. And he was living there in 1964.
Sorry.
What? I lived there in 1964, and he had a donkey in church. And he used to go to, he was 94 years of age when he died. He used to go to the town twice a week, on a Tuesday and on a Friday. And he had a couple of hens and a donkey to feed himself. And he used to drink in Hodges pub every Tuesday and every Friday, whatever day he got the pension. And he used to come out and put his arm into the winkers of the donkey, and the donkey brought him home to there. And he actually, actually had a wee lane through there with a couple of sheets of iron that he drove the donkey and cart into.
Yeah.
During the year. But in February 19...
You got a better picture of me,
What? 1964. The neighbours missed him. And some of them come in and
Trillick.
he had fell in the fire. What?
Right, go ahead.
He was brought to the hospital because of pneumonia. And he died. And as a matter of fact, nobody looked about him. He was in the hospital and he was dead a couple of days before. At that time they wasn't the same regularly. Shaw Mallet actually was the undertaker, but in the hospital he was in, and they were asking Shaw Mallet did he know that there was a man dead from Trillick, and nobody looked about him.
An inauspicious end for the O'Neills in Trillick. As the plantations were established, a new castle was built in Trillick, known as Mervyn Castle. It was built by Captain James Mervyn between 1620 and 1628. It was occupied up until the 1800s. It still sits on private land and is currently inaccessible.
And they dug a grave with the lights of P.T. Kelly's, which was dark in February, with the lights of P.T. Kelly's Breadful. And that was a man, now history would have had to been a lot different, but that man in theory could have been the high king of Ulster. And he was buried with the lights of Breadful. John Mark made the homemade Celtic cross.
There's no inscription on the cross.
There it is. The O'Neill family home.
We went up to Braher Mountain, where there's great views all around Trillick and beyond. The Battle of Dry Hill between the Maguires and the O'Neills would have been over this land.
Now, what you're looking about, as you see, right where I showed you in the map.
Yeah.
See that fence there, look? Along the side of the road there, that's the road from Fermanagh border. You're over that fence here in Fermanagh. And it runs away there to the Bar Church.
On clear days, you can see many of the counties of southern Ulster, and even into Leinster. What you can also identify is the difference in land quality between those who swore fealty to the Crown and those who were subjected to its oppression.
These town lands are Glebe town lands. Now, the minister got all them town lands, not at all Braher Mountain, just like that there. And he couldn't get planters to go to it. Then that's why you get all the Kellys, McGurn, and so on. Now see that whole lawn that you're looking at?
Yep.
That lawn, there was a survey done in about 1832. There's 1,000 acres, more than 1,000 acres of Braher reclaimed. And the way it was reclaimed was there's wee rivers runs up there, you see. And there'd be wee bits of good land beside them, and there'd be a man that had 5 acres taken as a fairly good land. Not good land, green land. That would graze a cow. And they give him another 5 acres like that there for nothing, for 5 years or maybe 10 years, I don't know. What he done is that then, you see, that man would have 2 or 3 sons, and there was no ball class or not to work. They were at home. And they spent their time to straw that whole old heather or whatever was on it off it. But what they done was, they reclaimed it with spades and shovels and done what was called idle ridging. And that, what that done was, it created drainage and it created dry ground, and they took the stones out of it and it created. And then the great thing for breaking up ground was, after a couple of years, they put spuds on. Double the spuds on. It spread this, whatever dung they had mixed with this ash, that was, and they put that and they doubled the spuds on. And the spud was a great machine for opening up the ground. And they take a couple of crops of spuds out of it. And then they would level it into wider ridges, what they called lazy beds. They were 7 foot, not 7, but 7 yards wide. And they sowed corn and that. And over a period of time then they got it that the cow could graze it. And then by that time the minister took it back to them and sell it to the sun.
The mountain also hosts a transmitting station. In 1971, a booby-trap bomb killed 5 people. In 2021, a memorial plaque was placed on the mountain after we had recorded this session. Trillick was served by 2 railway lines, meeting here at Bundoran Junction. This station, on the outskirts of town, would carry passenger and freight all across the country and into Britain.
Eh? Those have been doing that.
Well, it's the only one run down here.
Oh, the train's run down there.
Oh, this was the platform?
No. Oh. Oh. Yeah, no. You weren't there the day the railway closed.
I remember the trains coming through. Vaguely remember trains coming through. Wasn't trains standing on the road? Wasn't trains go past?
Well,
back
in
past.
1957, September 1957, it closed. I was 12 at the time. And my father brought, I don't mind how many of us, to Trillick Station in McYard, the 4-8. Now I don't mind me and more and Sheila, and I don't know.
No, I
And we got tickets up here, a return ticket from Trillick Station to Bundoran Junction. And then we got the down train, and we had what we held on to them tickets. But that was the last day of the train. But you see, you weren't allowed to drink in that bar there unless you had a valid train ticket. But that's what the boys coming out of Trillick done. They come out to Trillick Station and got a ticket from Bundoran Junction for a penny and come up here, and the police couldn't. But you weren't supposed to go in and drink there. It was only for it was because it was a waiting room. There would have been 6 signalmen, 2 men for each box. There was a box up there, a box in each line. But then the first man was more at 6 o'clock in the morning. The goods trains went early to be out of the road. But then, and the goods train went late, so they'd be on it. But Phil O'Brien would be on and Paddy Swift would be on then in the evening. And there was a boy porter and a head porter for wheeling your suitcases
from the train.
From here over to that train.
That's
Bundoran line there.
On the door line, is it?
This is Bundoran line in place, through the Erpenstein.
That's not the track. With the train on. Used to be no such line there, isn't it?
Yeah.
The nearest the sort of first side was.
Ah,
Like every town in Ireland, Trillick is scarred with memories of centuries of war. In 1974, an elected councillor, Patsy Kelly, went missing. He was discovered in a lake 3 weeks later, weighted down. There has still been no convictions in the murder, and investigations are ongoing. It is suspected that members of the Ulster Defence Regiment, an official uniformed defence force, were behind the disappearance. In the 19th century on this spot, an outlaw group known as the Ribbon Men ambushed a train full of Orange men.
Just at that spot there, for the opening of the railway line, the Orange men, Van Stillen went to there on a special excursion, 600 on a train that took 2 engines to carry it.
Right.
They were coming home that night, the Ribbon men put 6 big stones on the line here and run the train off the line. And there was 2 people killed, the driver and another boy, and the driver is buried in Faughan graveyard in Donegal.
And in a town as small as Trillick, family rivalries last over generations.
Right, James. See that headstone there, that is Phil Bannon. Phil Bannon's daughter was Alan Bannon. He had 2 sons and 2 daughters, right? We know of them. And Alan Bannon married John McAnespy. And John McAnespy had a son, John McAnespy.
Also John.
And that John McAnespy had a son called Jim McAnespy. And Jim McAnespy had a son called Jim McAnespy. And Jim McAnespy, that Jim McAnespy had a son called James McAnespy. That's you.
Who's now?
That's it,
Who's
right?
now holding the camera?
What?
Who's now holding the camera?
Yes. That's you, my father, my grandfather, my great-grandmother, Phil Bannon. That's very interesting, but I'll tell you it's far more interesting. I had a wide job finding that stone there for it fell over. And I put it up, and it took do for another 140 years or whatever. Now, do you see that stone, what I would believe that stone there comes from when they made the railway through Bannon's lawn. That stone was probably threw out to do a headstone for a window, or, you know, it was a kind of a good square stone. That's what I would think. But see that stone there? Philip Bannon. That's white sandstone.
Right.
That's in San Diego in California. That's that man's grandson.
Right.
Right, okay. It's also
Retired.
Philip Michael Bannon.
Can you see it?
US Maryland Colonel, US Marine Corps.
Yeah, that's
World
the
War
grandson of that. Not that boy there, Philip Bannon. Not a grandson. Aye, it is. A grandson, yeah. That man there was the first cousin of my grandfather. Your grandfather. That boy there.
Oh, right.
That was his grandfather. And that's my grandfather, your grandfather's grandfather. Now, the reason that Michael Bannon, not Philip Bannon, that's the Marine Corps in Maryland, that boy fought in the Boxer War. He fought at Guantanamo. He was fought in 7 different campaigns. But that man, he said that his grandfather was an officer in the United Island Army, and that's why he left.
Right. Left where?
Here.
Oh, that's this man here?
That man's father there was an officer in the United States.
Oh, right.
According to this boy here, and writings that I got out of America. But I was searching for that. I knew that headstone existed, and she was very wee and wasn't days ago.
Aye.
But I was searching for it in the middle of this graveyard, and you know it's like come down different times. But my father would have told me about the Bannons and about the McAnespys and about the Kellys. And I never heard much word, and you heard the word Lindsay, but I never heard anything about them. Now, when I was searching, now it's not 100% true, but Catholics are not buried under graves. That's a gravestone. That in there. That's a.
I know, but that's there. It's very hard stone. What do you call that? The ground? Yes, stone.
But so I never looked for a bannon under one of them there because I knew it wouldn't. Short ones like that there before I found, because there's very little writing in that as well. But one day it was round here, and now this great place has been cleared up. So a lot of them there was moss on them like that there. And I was walking across here searching for that stone. But obviously somebody that was searching for one of them stones had trailed off somewhere that they got a name. Now I wasn't even interested in walking because it was often raining, and the rays are red after it rained, you know. And I was walking, because I seen Lindsay. Lindsay was the fourth name.
Right.
And I couldn't believe this, so I went to Albert Haddon's daughter, Albert Haddon's wife, who was secretary in Ballinamore. Now that headstone there reads John Lindsay. That man died, John Lindsay died in 1812. Now that stone was erected by his...
It's 1873.
By his son, John Lindsay, who died aged many years, 65 was it, in 1875. That there is Landrum's estate there. And when everybody, there was 3 valuations in 1855, the time of the Griffith valuation, there was 3 valuations for ordinary people's houses. There was a £1 valuation, that was them slated houses, was the valuation, it was nothing to do with the rateable valuation. There was a thatched house, that thatched country house, 10 shillings. And then there was a cabin, which was 5 shillings. That place was valued at £65 when our house down at Loch Rush would be valued at 10 shillings.
50 pence.
50 pence. This boy here lived in a house that was valued, I think it was £3.15. He had no lawn.
It was a big house.
What?
Must have been a big house.
Big house. But he was Landrum's land agent.
Right.
He had no land, but he had a big house.
And he was collecting the
He was
rent.
the man that he was the dog that done the barking. So in other words, that man and that man over there who was been involved in the land league and so on would have been sort of mortal enemies. And they're buried 12 foot apart. That man there, this boy that died here in 1875, aged 67 or whatever he was. His wife died young, and he married a second time. And the second time he married a Catholic.
Lindsay?
Lindsay married a Catholic.
Right.
That's that man's daughter, that man's granddaughter. And she was baptised in her mother.
Oh, this man's daughter, right.
This man's daughter, Roseanne Lindsay. And however she come across or met James Kelly, who was a son, was born up in where the roads, the tarred or the concrete lane split. And he married her.
He probably was working for some connection.
What?
He probably was working for the...
No, he wouldn't have been, because this was her totally Protestant area. They wouldn't have let a Protestant in round Maracross, a Catholic in round Maracross at all, because it would be too dangerous at the time. He was thinking about the ribbon that night. But whatever way he met Roseanne Lindsay, him and Roseanne Lindsay married. And he dropped the Kellys and he went to live.
Yeah.
Landrum's provided him with a place up there, Drumson's house. And he reared a family of 10, and Alice McAnespy was one of them. And the Kellys never wanted Alice McAnespy to marry in McAnespy. They wanted to stay with the establishment. but they still stayed Catholic. So that's where. So now, John Lindsay had a son, John Lindsay, who had a daughter, Roseanne Lindsay, who had a daughter, Alice Kelly, who had a son, Jim McAnespy, who had a son, Jim McAnespy, who had a son, James McAnespy. And that's Now, you're standing there now, looking at two men who would have been mortal enemies. That was Phil Bannon and John Lindsay, the land agent. We're direct descendants.